Situation is as follows. We have received information that a group of 12 terrorists of the South African Communist Party have infiltrated the area from the southeast. Hulle het die area geïnfiltreer van die suidooste. Ons peloton 3 van Eagle Company, maar in hier basis moet 'n patrollie doen in die omgewing van RP 008125 in hierdie omgewing self. Maar die rede is hoekom ons soontoe gaan, ons kan nie vyand van in daai area verwag ook. Hulle kan miskien 'n paar aande, daar's 'n huis daarbo, hulle kan miskien 'n paar aande daar slaap en dan eers deur beweeg. Maar hulle is in hierdie algemene area, dis hoekom ons die hele area moet patrolleer.
Part of our training is to go to Toes River for 3 weeks during our first phase. What happens is when we get to this place called Toes River, we weren't all sure what was going to happen and what it was going to be like. When we first got there during our first phase of the training, it looked dead. The place was brown. There was this dry river that we thought was supposed to be the Toes River. there were a few mountains here and there, and there was no electricity boxes, there were no public telephones, there was nothing. It was out in the middle of nowhere. But we thought, well, let's see how it goes. Anyway, we arrived there and we traveled a few k's on this dirt road, past a big dam. If we looked out, when we drove past the dam, if we looked out the right-hand side of the bus windows, we saw snow on the mountains. And this was during the day when we arrived, and the weather was hot. It wasn't too bad. There wasn't a wind blowing yet. I must say the first day we were there, the weather was quite nice to us. Well, I can tell you later, when the sun went down, the wind started blowing straight off the mountain, down the valley, straight through our camp. We froze. The camp itself, we arrived there on the Saturday just after lunch. We pitched tents the whole afternoon, and yet by that evening we still hadn't finished pitching at camp, so we spent the Sunday pitching as well. The camp basically consists of three major tents, three of the largest tents we have, which are to accommodate all the troops. It's the Able Seamen and the Viking Company and Eagle Company as well. We then have the HQ section, which consists of a store, of the OC's tent, which is Lieutenant Rousseau's tent. We have the PO's tent, the chief's tent, the tent in which the leading seamen and all the ensigns sleep, a tent in which the firemen sleep, and we have the galley tent, which to us is considered the most important tent. And we have in the middle of all these tents we have a fireplace. I remember the first phase, the fireplace was called the light bulb, and they shaped this fireplace in the shape of a light bulb. It was none of the troops' idea, so we had a good laugh when we first heard it. All the vehicles were parked under the trees, a distance away from the camp, and there were camo nets covering the whole of the HQ section. That's all the tents in which the staff and the kitchen and all that are placed.
We were at tows for exactly 8 working days. 2 days vehicle movements, 2 days patrols, 2 days ambushes, and the rest were just like foot patrols and TBs and that. The main thing we would like to talk about is ambushes. First of all, we started off where our ensign gave us snap orders outside the tents, and he told us to go inside and get our kit ready, load our magazines. His thumb's like hurting, get real sore after a couple of rounds. A couple of magazines are full. And the guys are complaining and they don't want to really do this, but actually it's all fun and everyone really wants to, but they don't want to, if you understand. And then when we had to camo, with this camo cream, it's like black thick stuff. Put it all over your hands and your neck, and behind your ears, in your ears, behind back, and everyone does each other. One person camos another, and it's cold, it's black, and it's very difficult to get off because you come back late at night. And it's like very thick and creamy. It's not very nice stuff. And after we camoed, we had to go outside and form in our sections and walk in patrol. When we walk in patrol, we had to walk quite a distance, about 4 to 5 k's. Everyone very nervous and excited, and all kind of feelings were mixed up in each other. As soon as we started walking, we walked over this bridge, which we had self-made to go over the river. Everyone was dead quiet. It was like a real situation on the border. Everyone was like nervous and scared and very tense. And we were looking around, observing the place, but no one said one sound. You could just hear the footsteps and the frogs and like the crickets. These little insects you get in the side of the river, flickering and making these funny noises. But everyone just kept dead quiet and just looking around and around and around. We walked for quite a distance, about 4 to 5 kilometers. We were getting quite tired and bored because the Grootsekwa is quite a hectic amount on your back, and after a while your back like starts dragging forward and you don't really feel like doing it anymore, but you do anyway. I don't know why, you just do it. Now, as soon as the enemy walked, they were walking along, and like everyone was waiting for the enemy to come across. When they came, the early warning group gave a signal on the radio, and that indicated that they were coming at the moment. And at the moment, everyone just became excited and tense and nervous all at the same time. All the feelings were mixed. It was a very awkward situation. It was like really like you were really there on the border in that situation happening right there in front of you. As these guys hit the trip flare, the trip flare made like illume. The whole place lit up and the claymores went off immediately. And after that, everyone just started firing. Each magazine, you got 4 rounds in one trace. The trace is like a red bullet, like you shoot every 5th round in the mag as well. Everyone just started shooting. They shot up aluminum flares from the mortar. And it just lit up the whole place all the time, so we could see really where the enemy was. And like totally devastated the whole area. We set up a couple of fires there, and everything went like very hectic that night. It was like amazing when you were doing it. All of a sudden, these red flares went up, and that means ceasefire. Everyone just stopped firing, and after that, everyone just shouted like feeling of joy, and I was total excitement in your voice, and everyone was happy. It was like I can't explain it really. It's like you have to be there. You feel so good. Everyone just like shouts and goes crazy. It's a great feeling, and we felt pretty proud as our platoon as we did it. And we had to walk through the river coming back, and the river was like deep and cold, and our overalls, our browns were soaking wet, our boots were wet, dried by the fire. And that wasn't very funny because that was at 11 o'clock at night, and they said the bridge was blown away, but I was still there.
Voertuigbewegingklasse begin by vaanderige kruin en Basieman baadjies. Die swartbord is opgestel onder die bome, allemaal net rustig verkeer, en hulle het vir ons net stapsgewys op die bord gewys hoe hulle die ding gedoen het, hoe ons optrede moet wees, waarheen die buffels moet jaag en hoe die aanval presies moet verloop. Nadat ons alles deeglik behandel het en almal klare vrae gevra het, het die buffels eers stilgestaan en Basieman baadjies het vir ons gewys hoe om die buffel te benader, hoe om jou geweer te skouer oor jou skouers te gooi en dan op die buffel te spring. Daarna het hy vir ons gewys hoe om af te spring en vir ons een ding baie belangrike ding gesê het, dat jy moet nie bang wees nie, jy moet nie twyfel nie, jy moet net spring en jy moet nie kyk hoe hoog dit is nie. En nog 'n belangrike ding wat hy gesê het is, jy moet nie met 2 voete op die grond land nie. Jy land eers met jou linkervoet, dan met jou regtervoet. Daarna het ons net gewoond raak aan die buffelsry. Ons gesê ons moet vasgordel en doen verskil baie rond. Jy kan hier redelik self seer maak. Jou geweer moet ook een van jou weggehou word, want met die stamperij kan jy jouself seer maak. Toe het ons uitgegaan in die veld, gejaag met die buffels, drywers het mal gegaan. Baie lekker gevoel gehad binne, ja. Die eerste keer het jy so mal te kere gaan in 'n buffel en alles.
Nou die eerste buffel is hy die kontak sluit, dan skiet hy nou op die vyand. En die buffel manne, drywers, hulle regie nou nie om hoe jy sit die agter nie, maar in die ry moet jy nou die flappe opgooi en jy moet afspring. Maar ek sê vir jou, dit lyk of jou longe losskit binne hy ding en lyk of jy bo uitgeskiet en nou sit jou chom in die land met daai geweergranaat boobie geweer. En hy keer nou net vir alles wat dit werd is, dat die geweergranaat die kaptein die buffel se hand in. En julle sit 'n paniekbevange raak, want dit lyk nou enige oomblik die buffel gaat omval. Maar sodra jy loop staan as jy af en jy lê net aan, en daar doen julle vuur in beweging, wat hulle noem vuur in beweging. Julle beweeg soos 'n kettingpil en daar's deur mekaar en jy skree vir jou maatjie hier en daar gaat julle. As jy daar boy kom hang jou tong lank, en jy so moeg. Nou as jy nie jou kop gebruik nie, gaan jy jou maatjie mors doodskiet voor jou. Dis hoe ek sê jy daar so 1004 is die plek waar jou gedagte moet gebruik. En nie jou, hoe sal ek sê, jou fiksie of jou grootte nie. Daarmee net met jou verstand weer daar so. Ek gee ding wat hulle noem die LMG. En nou maar hy dan skiet nou vir jou berg aan die brand. As jy agter hom geklim het, jy stap op so oor op 'n perder is jy en sneller hier los nie. Jou long is heel los en jou ribbes is voel of wat breek so jy heiling skiet. Maar ek sê, en vir alles jy nou die geweergranaat kry, en jy sit hom af voor op jou geweer, en jy skiet vir hom af, en jy is in posisie nie, hy lê op jou na van jou rug. is so gevaarlijk rijding vir jou.
So aanval dis fantasties om te skiet. Jy skiet nie wel na teikens nie, maar die geraas daarom is die LMG wat so raas in die ore en jy self wat heeltemal mal gaan, jy skree en jy skiet net. Dis 'n fantastiese gevoel. Dis 'n gevoel wat weet so asof jy van jou frustrasies kan ontslaa raak en jy gaan net mal. En ek dink dis enige my ou se droom om so 'n aanval te kan doen want dis nie alle dae dat jy so iets kan beleef nie. Dis regtig 'n goeie ervaring en veral as die geweergranaat ook geskiet word. Hy skud 'n bietjie, ruk 'n bietjie jou terug en so aan, maar nogtans al die dinge is baie lekker en dis 'n fantastiese gevoel.
In Tojava, we used to train about 15 minutes before supper because most of us used to be very hungry after a long day's work. We usually had one guy in front of the whole squad to pray fast. But when we're in Toes River, everything has changed. We all sang out a prayer at once. When we actually learned to say the prayer properly, we were congratulated by our lieutenant for the first time for the lovely prayer we had sung. The galley staff make sure that there's enough food for both companies and for the staff members. We eat out of dixies which are like two separate plates, and it's designed as two rectangles with a length of about 17 centimeters and about 10 centimeters broad. The other one is about 2 millimeters smaller so the dixies can fit in one. Some of them use plastic bags over the dixies. What most of them do, they take out the plastic bags and they put a porridge in a dixie. Then they take the plastic bag and put it again over the dixie so they can put a dessert over it so that food don't mixed up like most of the other guys do. The first thing we really learned in the Marines is to work together. At first it's very difficult because each race want to show each other that they are better than one another. But as the time go by, you learn to work together. And the spirits become also bigger and greater. For our company, we had achieved great things because we work together and had team spirit all the way.
One of the aspects that we deal with at Toes River was patrols. We started off the one morning with orders where our duty officer, or our platoon officer, which was Ensign Van Niekerk in this case, giving us orders. We sit around in a class formation and he's prepared a blackboard and a sand model for us. And he basically explains to us what we're going to be doing for the next 2 days on this patrol. The sand model has a relative scale, and it basically shows us the area which we're going to cover. On the blackboard, he draws himself a map, and also to a relative scale, showing us where north is, and basically the route that we're going to cover, and obstacles, and where we're going to stop and form temporary bases. Usually after orders, we go into our tents and we pack all of our stuff together, the stuff that we're going to need, and we muster on outside in our sections with our section leader in front. The skitters line up behind him. We then unpack all our stuff onto a ground sheet with our rifles next to us, and everybody puts the equipment more or less in the same order as the guy in front of them. We then check all our equipment, make sure that everyone's got the same equipment, has water in their water bottles. If rations are needed, we check that we've got enough rations. We check that we've got enough ammunition, clothes, sleeping equipment, and eating equipment, etc. Once that's all been checked and everybody has the necessary equipment, we pack everything back into our groot sacks, and we just hang around and wait for the word go. As soon as the ensign tells us to pull out, we get into our formation. Basically, we face the direction in which we're going to be walking. This would all happen early-ish in the morning, say about 8 o'clock, and we'd leave about 8:30 after final inspection. And basically we spent the whole day walking through the bush. It was extremely hot. It was really hot this last toes. You could literally wring your hair out. We got so sweaty. But what happens in this case is you don't usually walk more than 10 k's a day because it is too hot. So what happens during the day is we do a lot of resting. We'd walk for about 1 kilometer or say about an hour's walking at the most. And we'd set up what we call as a TB, a temporary base. The next day we walked back and we got back to the base and we formed up another TB just outside the base. We were running low on water, so we set up a TB and we spent the night under the stars here as well. We had a chance to fill up our water bottles, and when it came to eating arrangements, we weren't issued red packs. We went one by one to get food in our dixies. After that, we made our way to the shooting range. Part of the patrol that we do, that must include a platoon attack. So they did orders and they decided where they were going to have the platoon attack. They got all the ABs together and they had a bit of a talk, and the orders were given to them. The orders then came to us, and the ABs told us what they expect of us, and the ensign told us more or less where it was going to take place and how it was going to take place. After the orders, we packed everything back up and we started moving in the direction of the suspected enemy. By this time, we all clearly knew what our role in the attack was, and as soon as we were just waiting for the bang to signal the contact of enemy.
Almal razen is skieter en is als en nou hardloop die een sê na so 'n ding wat hulle sê donga. Is so 'n diep gat sloop besigheid. Nou hardloop die vaandrag met jou daar aan die gang op. Jy hardloop omtrent so 100 meter, nou is jy op boek om as jy so uitasem. Jy so 'n wat 30.000 km agter Hassan gehardloop. Nou jy kom net daar, nou moet jy alweer so 'n aanval doen na deur. Maar die man in die onderkant die eerste plat gesak. Nou skiet hulle. Maar jy het so 'n biewe rasie want jy dink, oei, hier is nou wat die koei van my gaat raak. Maar dan jy doen die aanval, nou sien jy ook hier voor jou breek die tak is. Dan sê jy ook maar hier voor die vader, maar kan ons nie omdraai of die manne kan nie stop haal dat ons 'n verk aanval doen. Maar jy doen ook maar die aanval. Tot jou verbasing kom jy weer lewendig aan die kant.
It was fun while we were doing it, but afterwards, when we finished, we felt, I don't know, it's a very weird feeling you feel inside after you finish. It's like a feeling of joy and excitement. I don't know really, it's pretty hard to explain. But after all, we've done it and it's finished and everyone was happy with us, so we were happy with ourselves.
And now for all my friends and the basics, it was good and fantastic to be with all of you. Basics was fantastic, although we had hard times and enjoyment together. I hope you enjoy the rest of your naval career and your civilian life thereafter.